Good morning, Chris, and
Afternoon.
good morning, Sabrina.
We have a few minutes. I don't really know where to start with you. Maybe we could just start at a session. What is the minority being told about plans for session and what type of session it's going to be and who's going to be able to do what?
Well, I did send a text to the speaker the other day, and still we have no call for session at this point. I did send out a press release yesterday trying to push for the Bill 322, which is very simple. It just provides the families who need the assistance now and for some kind of relief. And we haven't got anything yet at this point. I'm sorry to say. I mean, we're continuing to push, the majority leadership at the legislature to go into session. We need to start off first with a resolution that needs to be adopted to allow us to go into virtual session, and that still hasn't been, calendared in or scheduled.
Senator, can I just ask you, is what is going on here is you have the Democratic leadership, and these are, the governors, the go-to guys. Are we seeing them kind of, God, I don't want to say the word I was thinking of. Are we seeing them kind of block the progress of any session just to keep you guys from coming together and getting those COVID-19 bills introduced?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's even deeper than that. I think if we go into session, we're also going to reveal our financial situation where we are today, and also to see what the governor is actually spending out there. I know that in FY19 there was excess revenue, and still up to this day they're not telling us, how much is left over, and has she spent any of that money? That was $23 million. And then you had the first quarter projections that came out just recently showing an excess of $30 million. So and then you have the war claims that are supposed to be coming shortly here. And if people are having to float their paychecks monthly, then I think the government of Guam can do the same and float, to allow those people who out there who need that assistance right now. There are people who don't have money to purchase food, of all things. Mm-hmm. She says that you can go down to public health and apply for SNAP. That's not easy. For a lot of these people, they don't have transportation to do that or the means to call up, and if they do, the phone is constantly busy. Now, there is money in there that we can utilize right now to give to those people who are most in need at this point. Going into session to allow the governor to do that is what we need to do. It's the first step. We have the option to do it safely, like all our doctors and nurses putting out, posts out there.
Yeah, you guys are late to the party, Senator. Everyone else on Guam has figured out how to work around COVID-19. I just don't understand what the holdup. I got to call out the rules chair again. I was just thinking last night, Senator Regine Bisco Lee is the chairwoman of Federal Affairs and Labor. I can't think of two more relevant areas that are front and center right now.
Right, neither can I. Have you ever heard from Senator Joe San Augustine?
We still have not heard from Senator Joe San Augustine. We asked the speaker to, let him know to call, but,
I've done the same for you too, Chris.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
I heard that there was a letter sent to him from the governor's office that we have not been able to get our hands on. Right. And this is very disingenuous because if there's any information out there to, sorry about that, if there's any information out there to let us know about our financial condition, then they should let us know, because then we have the means and the money that can be identified to help our people today and now.
Tell us, so are you basically saying that we have the money to float local assistance right now?
Well, if you do the math and look at what we've generated so far that was out there, the excess revenue in FY19, that was close to $23 million. And you look at the additional revenue projected, the money that came in the first quarter of this year for FY 2020. And it was announced already that there was excess, over $30 million in excess revenue. So where is all that money right now? Right. This is money that we can put out to the public right now, those who are in most need for assistance at this point. Now, if this, supposedly the congressman mentioned yesterday that in a couple weeks the war claims reimbursement should be coming into the government of Guam in a couple weeks. Well, then let's start floating whatever we have now, if that's true to form coming in a couple weeks. And that's something that the, Congressman San Nicolas needs to be doing and advocating for there in the federal government right now, pushing that money to Guam, doing what he can. And instead of, he's coming up with these solutions that right now, I don't think anybody wants to touch the retirement fund. I mean, that's
kind of crazy. I mean, the Manumco, Senator Telo, the Manumco on this island are dealing with enough. They're the ones who are most vulnerable to COVID-19. And the last thing Tanana Tunpete needs is to wake up this morning and find out Congressman San Nicolas and Speaker Tina Munia Barnes and Senator Mary Torres and Senator Jim Moylan are trying to play funny games with the retirement fund.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is something that I've had calls left and right, comments being made from bankers and investors and financial people who understand the climate out there. They're saying that's not a solution. Even though the congressman is trying to give us some solutions, what he really should be doing is pushing Congress back there, going to these federal agencies that are taking care of Department of Labor, U.S. Department of Labor, education out there.
You mean doing his job? Because that's his job, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, his job is not to, powwow with a couple senators who really like him and, are going to tell, hey, what a great idea.
Yeah, why weren't all the other senators invited in on this?
Well, it was something that I asked a question to, and the next thing you know, on air, he answered, he only invited those who attended his conference. Well, he had a conference at 1 o'clock, the same time the governor had a very important message to put out on that day. So we did reach out to the congressman and ask, Jim Moylan, and reached out to him and asked him if he can change the time to at least 2 o'clock. But he said that was the only time available for the congressman.
Right.
And I couldn't believe that because everybody's at home. What do you mean it's the only time? Or maybe we could do it the next day. But fortunately, he said he only invited them. Well, I went on that chat group, the Zoom chat. The governor hasn't started yet her press release. So I went on the other chat.
Wait, you were able to get on?
I was able to get on the Zoom, and I looked and noticed that was there only Senator Moylan was on it, and then everybody else that was on it were staff members from the senator's office. So these staff members were able to take notes and everything, so why didn't the congressman invite those people who were represented by that office?
I wanted to share something with you, Senator, that we had asked the Speaker's office yesterday about. I asked them to address specifically the point in the minority Republican Party of Guam letter that you guys had sent to the Speaker, basically saying, when the governor wants us to jump, we all got to jump, but we're not jumping to help the people locally. And the answer that we got from Chirag and the Speaker was, right now with the experts saying the worst is yet to come, it would be prudent to keep resources available to save lives. Furthermore, as per our congressman, he said that programs are currently being put in place right now as we speak, administration to administration, and passing any bill would risk the expedient implementation of those programs. To which I countered, I think this is the Bill 181 argument that we heard with the war claims, and that, Bill 181 is going to kill the federal this, and then it turned out to be not even close to being true. Both, obviously 1365 is now passed into law, and 181 was able to run its course. And, no one ever was jeopardized because of it.
Well, we're standing strong. The Republican minority is standing strong to ask the Speaker to go into session. Zoom would be the safe alternative for anybody in the legislature who's uncomfortable going out there, who's following the rules of all our doctors and nurses to stay home. We have an alternative. And it's just not happening. But I'm not giving up. I will continue to reach out to the Speaker and some of my other colleagues to even start that petition for everyone to sign up. Let's start session. You get 9 senators to sign this petition, which is going to be going around today. Then we're going to present it to the Speaker and say, you have...
is this where we're at? We got to get senators to sign a petition to give to the Speaker? What the hell is going on? Are you serious? Are you freaking serious?
It's a joke.
This is a joke. I mean, and what's crazy is all of you guys, who are trying to do good for the people of Guam, You guys are stuck on the speaker's ride. You're stuck on this roller coaster, and your guys are going down. This is where I see this roller coaster is going down.
More like crashing.
Crashing down, yeah. And it's just really, I don't even know. I just don't understand.
Well, we got to continue to do our part. Everyone has to do our part, and as well as the Republican senators who are pushing it. We're going to continue no matter what it is, even if the idea doesn't sound right. We're going to try another idea to try and get her to call session. But I do appreciate, I can't be totally negative about that. There's some things that are going out there that are doing good for the people, and people donating food and helping your neighbor. This is good. We all need to do our part.
Well, I think that's right. Everybody needs to do their part.
Yeah,
but
you guys got to do your part.
Unfortunately, the speaker not calling session is not doing her part. And if
I just don't understand. Like with the Zoom, you guys had a mock trial, I thought, or practice.
We spent almost 3 hours, 2 different days combined to try and make amendments, how we're going to do the amendments, how we're going to call people to onto Zoom to testify. We had that all squared away. I thought we were almost done, and then Zoom, she calls off session the next day. So not quite sure how, why all of a sudden she did. I can only assume, and in these times, I'm trying to be positive, but it's very difficult right now.
Oh no, I try to.
Needs to do this,
Mm-hmm.
And I by the way, I mentioned how people are donating and people are doing things.
Mm-hmm.
I greatly want to say that I appreciate the two of you nonstop. You've been there almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
Putting out this information and doing a great job at finding the answers for a lot of people. And I greatly appreciate that. Thank you, guys, because I know you have families, too. Yeah. And people forget that you guys, too, have families.
Thanks. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah,
and
she's going to cry again.
I need to go because we're trying to push this out. We're trying to get them to call session.
Okay.
I'm going to reach out to the other side and see if they can help push.
Thanks. So please get them to do whatever you can.
And by the way, I mentioned earlier something that if you can ask, because you guys have great avenues to get questions answered. Why was the governor calling this a social isolation instead of a stay-at-home order like most states are doing right now? And in the stay-at-home order, most executive orders have curfews incorporated. They also have fines and penalties incorporated in these executive orders when it's a stay-at-home. So why is the governor asking the legislature to implement a policy for these two areas that are already being done in most states? Mm-hmm. U.S. states.
Yeah. I don't know. I asked her yesterday at the press conference, hey, have you heard anything about emergency session? And she was like, no. So I feel like if she was really waiting for it, she might have added something in there. But, I'm going to call a speaker.
Well, the question to ask her is, why didn't you put a stay-at-home order and incorporate those things that you want the legislature to put in? And she says it's from the Attorney General's recommendation.
I wish we could get the Attorney General on the line.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how he came to this determination.
Absolutely. I was wondering about that, if you ever had the Attorney General on your show yet.
We did.
Everybody else?
About price gouging.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, great. Maybe you can call him again, because then he can answer the question, then why are all the other states incorporating this in their executive order if he thinks that this is not right? And if I'm not mistaken, I heard the governor saying that there are certain things that she can't do. Mm-hmm. I believe she can do this.
I believe that if she did them, who's going to challenge her?
Exactly.
That's my thing. It's like, if you don't have the authority, you do it.
The AG's going to challenge her?
What? The AG ain't going to sue you? That's your boy.
Well, one thing I'm very appreciative of is that she's coming on every day, and reaching out to the public and giving as much information. And I'm envious of the media, because they can ask questions. Wow. And I have all these questions in my head that I would like to ask too. But
our questions are taken, Senator. You're not getting our questions. We got.
And we only get two, so.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much again, Sabrina. Take care of you. Glad you're reminding everybody to wash your hands. And Chris, right on.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job, you guys. And
thank you, Senator.
My best to you and your family, and the KUAM family, too, out there, who are also being a part of the frontliners.
We're not out there. We're in here. We're trying to do our best.
So you got to get from point A to point
Right.
B.
Right.
And
Good
anything
point.
can happen.
Good point.
It's a chance you're taking when you do that. So, and I recognize it, and I'm sure everyone else recognizes it too as well. Thank you for
Thank you, Senator.
us informed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Right on.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like we're going to get a legislative resolution.